welcome back to our podcast. I'm the Disturbed Southern Belle.
And I'm the gentleman.
Since we're now into October, we thought it'd be fun to do something a little different. So I'm going to be doing a series through October that will be covering basically some disturbing sort of true ghost stories, horror stories type things. And the gentleman, he's going to go ahead and do our normal segment that we're going to be doing, carrying on for our new series, which we're going to be talking about the dark side of old Hollywood. So if we haven't finished that series up by the end of October, I'll then switch over and then, carry on. We'll continue on until we finish up. So the first true sort of crazy out there horror story we're going to talk about is the exorcism of Roland Doe. In the late 1940s, in the United States, priests of the Catholic Church performed a series of exorcisms on an anonymous boy documented under pseudonyms Roland Doe or Robbie Mannheim. The 14-year-old boy was a victim of alleged demonic possession, and the events were recorded by the attending priest, Raymond G. Bishop. Subsequent supernatural claims surrounding the events were used as elements in William Peter Blatty's 1971 novel, The Exorcist. So that's sort of what it was loosely based on.
Well, that's interesting.
It is, actually. So it was kind of like based on a true story-ish. Now, I'm not saying that the boy was actually possessed, because, a lot of mental illnesses were saw, but still, they thought he was. And maybe he was. I don't know. But anyway, in December 2021, the Skeptical Inquirer reported the true identity of Roland Doe as Ronald Edwin Hunkler, I hope I'm saying that right, who lived from June 1st, 1935 to May 10th, 2020. So he actually only died very recently, ironically enough.
Yeah.
So, origins of claims. So, in the mid-1949 area, several newspaper articles printed anonymous reports of an alleged possession and exorcism. The source for these reports is thought to be the family's former pastor, Luther Miles Schulz. According to one account, a total of 48 people witnessed this exorcism. 9 of them were Jesuits. Now, what difference that makes, I have no clue, but that's what they reported. According to author Thomas B. Allen, Jesuit priest Father Walter H. Halloran was one of the last surviving eyewitnesses of the event and participated in the exorcism. Allen wrote that a diary kept by attending priest Father Raymond J. Bishop detailed the exorcism performed on the, a pseudonym of, Roland. Why do I keep wanting to call him Robert? But Roland Doe. Sorry, people. Speaking in 2013, Allen emphasized that definitive proof that the boy, known only as Robbie, was possessed by malevolent spirits is unattainable. According to Allen, Halloran also expressed his skepticism about potential paranormal events before his death. When asked in an interview to make a statement verifying that the boy had actually been demonically possessed, Halloran responded saying, "No, I can't go on record. I never made an absolute statement about the things I didn't feel I was qualified." So, I take that what you want, right?
Right.
So the early life. So Roland was born into this German Lutheran family in 1935. During the 40s, the family lived in Cottage City, Maryland. And according to Allen, Roland was also an only child and depended upon adults in his household for playmates. Primarily his Aunt Harriet. His aunt, who was a spiritualist, introduced Roland to the Ouija board when he expressed interest in it. So, right?
Right.
You know how a lot of people feel about that.
Absolutely.
So, the exorcisms. So, according to Thomas B. Allen, after Aunt Harriet's death, the family experienced strange noises, furniture moving of its own accord, ordinary objects such as vases flying or levitating when the boy was nearby. The family turned to their Lutheran pastor, Luther Miles Schulz, for help. Long interested in parapsychology, Schulz arranged for the boy to spend a night in his home in order to observe him. When parapsychologist Joseph Banks Ryan learned that Schulz claimed he witnessed household objects and furniture seemingly moving by themselves, Ryan wondered if Schulz unconsciously exaggerated some of the facts. Schulz advised the boy's parents to see a Catholic priest. So other people are saying basically that they don't really think what he saw was true.
Yeah.
So he was there with him alone, sort of. Well, I guess maybe his family. You know what I'm saying. Well, I don't know if Catholic priest, he probably didn't have a family, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, nobody else witnessed it, so I don't know. We don't know. Now, according to the traditional story, the boy then underwent a number of exorcisms. Edward Hughes, a Roman Catholic priest, conducted an exorcism on Roland at the Georgetown University Hospital, which was a Jesuit institution. And during the exorcism, the boy allegedly slipped one of his hands out of the restraints, broke a bed spring from under the mattress, and used it as an impromptu weapon, slashing the priest's arm and resulting in the exorcism ritual being halted. So, So he rips out a spring, supposedly uses that as a weapon. I don't know how hard that would be to do. It sounds like it wouldn't be easy.
It does not.
But, who knows? So after the failed exorcisms, additional incidences occurred, including unexplained scratches on Roland's body. The boy's mother, a native of St. Louis, Missouri, desperately sought opportunities for a change of scenery. Upon seeing the word Louis appear in scratches on the boy's ribcage, the family resolved to travel to St. Louis. Whether that had anything to do with it, whether that was a name, whether it was direct. Anyway, that's what they said they saw, and they went. The family stayed at a relative's home in the inner belt suburb of Belnor. During their stay, Roland's cousins contacted one of their professors at St. Louis University, Bishop, who in turn spoke to William S. Bowdern, who was an associate of College Church. Together, both priests visited Roland in his relative's home, where they allegedly observed a shaking bed, flying objects, and the boy speaking in a guttural voice and exhibiting an aversion to anything sacred, like crosses and stuff like that. Bowder was granted permission from the Archbishop to perform another exorcism. Now, the exorcism took place at the Alexian Brothers Hospital in South St. Louis, later called South City Hospital, which closed its doors in 2023. Before the next exorcism ritual began, another priest, Walter Halloran, was called to the psychiatric wing of the hospital, where he was asked to assist Bowden and William Van Roo, who was a third Jesuit priest who was also there to assist. Halloran stated that during the scene, words such as evil and hell, along with other various marks, appeared on the boy's body. Allegedly, during the Litany of Saints portion of the exorcism ritual, the boy's mattress began to shake. Moreover, Roland broke Halloran's nose during the process. Halloran told a reporter that after the rite was over, the anonymous subject of the exorcism went on to lead a rather ordinary life. So, investigations, explanations, yada yada. So, in his 1993 book, Possessed, The True Story of an Exorcism, author Thomas B. Allen offered the consensus of today's experts that Robbie was just a deeply disturbed boy and there was nothing supernatural about him. Author Mark Opsenick questioned many of the supernatural claims associated with this story, proposing that Roland Doe was simply a spoiled, disturbed bully who threw deliberate tantrums to get attention or to get out of school. He also reported that Halloran, who was present at the exorcism, never heard the boy's voice change, and he thought the boy merely mimicked Latin words that he had heard other clergymen say, rather than actually gaining a sudden ability to speak Latin. So he was just saying random Latin words that he had heard in church or whatever.
Yeah.
He also reported that when the marks were found on the boy's body, Halloran failed to check the boy's fingernails to see if he could have made the marks himself. He also questioned the story of Hughes' attempt to exorcise the boy and his subsequent injuries, saying he could find no evidence that such an episode had actually occurred. So, during Opsenick's investigation, this is what he discovered. The exorcism did not take place at 1310 Bunker Hill Road in Mount Rainier, Maryland. The boy never lived in Mount Rainier. The boy's home was in Cottage City, Maryland. Much of the commonly accepted information about this story is based on hearsay. It's not documented and was never fact-checked. There is no evidence that Father E. Albert Hughes visited the boy's home, had him admitted to Georgetown Hospital, requested that the boy be restrained at the hospital, or attempted an exorcism of the boy at the Georgetown Hospital, or was injured by the boy during an exorcism or at any other time. There is ample evidence refuting claims that Father Hughes suffered an emotional breakdown and disappeared from the Cottage City community. According to Opsonic, individuals connected to the incident were influenced by their own speculations. To psychiatrist Rob suffered from mental illness. The priest that this was the case of demonic possession. To priests, it was a case of demonic possession. So the psychiatrist, or this one psychiatrist, Rob Doe, is saying this was a mental illness, blah blah blah, and the priest saying no, he was possessed. To writers and film and video producers, this was a great story, of course, to exploit for profit. Those involved saw what they were trying to see. Each purported to look at the facts, but just the opposite was true. In actuality, they manipulated the facts and emphasized information that basically fit their own agendas. Opsonic wrote that after he located and spoke with neighbors and childhood friends of the boy, most of whom he only referenced by their initials, he concluded that the boy had been a very clever trickster who had pulled pranks to frighten his mother and to fool children in the neighborhood. Now, skeptic Joe Nickell wrote that there was simply no credible evidence to suggest that the boy was possessed by demons or evil spirits, and maintains that the symptoms of possession can be childishly simple to fake. Nickell dismissed suggestions that supernatural forces made scratches or markings or caused words to appear on the teenage boy's body in unreachable places, saying a determined youth, probably even without a wall mirror, could easily have managed such a feat. If it actually occurred, although the scratch messages proliferated, they never again appeared to be on a difficult-to-reach portion of the boy's anatomy. So basically, they were all places where he could have done them himself. It wasn't in really hard-to-reach areas. On one occasion, the boy was reportedly seen scratching the words hell and Christ on his chest by using his own fingernails, according to Nickell. Noting that was reliably reported in the case was nothing that was reliably reported in the case was beyond the abilities of a teenager to produce. The tantrums, trances, moved furniture, hurled objects, automatic writing, superficial scratches, and other phenomena were just the kinds of things someone of the boy's age could accomplish, just as others have done before and since. Indeed, the elements of poltergeist phenomena, spirit communication, and demonic possession, taken both separately and especially together as one progressed to the other, suggest nothing so much as role-playing involving trickery. Nickell also dismissed stories of the boy's prodigious strength, saying he showed nothing more that could be summoned by just an agitated teenager. So they were saying he had this huge, strength of 10 men or something, and he's saying no, it was just any teenage boy agitated could have summoned this amount of strength. It wasn't anything amazing. And he criticized popular accounts of the exorcism for what he termed a stereotypical storybook portrayal of the devil. So, what do you think? Do you think this boy was really possessed or pulled the old wool over the eyes?
I think it's probably a safe bet to say he was not possessed.
It doesn't sound like it, does it? I mean, it's interesting and everything. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what people saw, but a lot of the stuff it's saying that happened, it really does sound like this was stuff that he could have done to himself or could have easily been, produced.
Yeah.
It's nothing amazing.
Also, I guess to be fair, I'm also just skeptical whenever I hear of possession.
Fair enough. I mean, it's so much, too, that it could be mental illness. It's so many different things it could be as well. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen because I don't know everything in this world that can and cannot happen. I'm not going to sit here and say that I do or pretend that I do. But, it does make you wonder.
It does.
But anyway, we hope you enjoyed that first segment. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And don't forget to stay disturbed.